Yo, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Mark Knight TV. It's been a week. My God. I'm so sorry for leaving you guys in the loop and not coming on air with some content. It's been a minute, I know. So I apologize to all of you, my viewers, what few they are, and I appreciate you very much. And to my fans, I thank you very, very much. I just want to tell you how much you guys really mean to me. The last thing that I did was the No Way Out review show where I gave my viewpoint on the pay-per-view. I thought that it was a well-put, well-addressed show, and I'm glad that I did it. But I want to talk about the ramifications, the things that took place after the pay-per-view. Now, we're just going to take things from there. I'm going to focus on 3 storylines right now. Actually, no, I'm going to focus on 4 storylines right now. And these 4 storylines have to deal with, 1, John Cena, John Laurinaitis, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Sheamus, the World Heavyweight title, Chris Jericho, Alberto Del Rio, and Randy Orton, and Brock Lesnar, Triple H, with the spin on what took place this past Monday night. So as we all know, we saw John Cena defeat Brock Lesnar in a very hellacious match. We seen John Cena rise to the occasion to become successful, but he has a torn ligament in his arm due to the Kimura lock, which was applied by Brock Lesnar. With him beating Brock Lesnar, this now puts Brock Lesnar in somewhat of a stalemate, if you will, which causes for the appearance of Triple H last week to appear on Raw and to basically null and void the hold-up deal from Brock the week before No Way Out. Excuse me. I believe, yeah, from No Way Out. You know, that's the pay-per-view coming up, excuse me, from Extreme Rules, pardon. So, Triple H comes out and tells Brock Lesnar, your deal means nothing. John Laurinaitis is like, nah, let's get this thing going. You're being disrespectful. He's telling him, no, mind your business, shut up. This has nothing to do with the original deal. We want Brock here. We want him in the company. We want him to face John Cena again. We want him to face Sheamus. We want him to face Big Show. We want him to face CM Punk. We want him to face all of the stars because that's superstar dream matches that we WWE Universe fans want to see, wrestling fans want to see. With that being said, this causes for Triple H to turn around and get blindsided by Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar then applies the Kimura lock on Triple H, fracturing his arm. And that leads into these other ramifications, and I'll get into that right now. Last week, this past Monday, on Monday Night Raw, we got to see the return of Paul Heyman. Now, everyone who knows professional wrestling knows Paul Heyman, Paulie Dangerously, the proprietor, booker, and producer of ECW, Extreme Championship Wrestling, the number 3 promotion in the 1990s in North America. The company that produced the Tommy Dreamers, the Tazes, the Dudleys, New Jack, gave us the Luchadors, Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit, Sabu, RVD, household names. And then taking guys like Shane Douglas, Sabu, Al Snow, and making them into big-time stars. Rhino to become a big star. Steve Corino to become a big star. Introducing us to guys like Tajiri and so forth, and Super Crazy and Masato Tanaka and, all these other household names. Helping to also launch the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin and Mick Foley. So, Paul Heyman became and has always been a big player in the world of professional wrestling, but has also been a good friend of Brock Lesnar and his advisor. So this week, shocking the entire world, Paul Heyman comes on WWE television. Not since 2007 or 2008 or so, whenever Extreme Championship Wrestling came back on Sci-Fi. And that was the last time that we all seen Paul Heyman on WWE programming, when he was the producer, voice, whatever, along with WWE to do the new ECW. He's back and he comes on television and he announces that Brock Lesnar quits WWE and that Brock Lesnar is going to sue the living daylights out of WWE because they're breaking the contract. Well, it's interesting that Paul Heyman comes back, and it's good to see him back because Brock Lesnar needed that voice. Brock Lesnar can talk, but he's done with the promo. Sorry. Paul Heyman, on the other hand, will bring that excitement, will bring that energy, will bring that well-polished heat that Brock Lesnar needs. And it's good to see him back. So, has Brock Lesnar actually quit WWE? No. He hasn't quit. I mean, all of the insiders know that his contract states 20 appearances throughout the year, all the way up until WrestleMania. And whoever his opponent is going to be at WrestleMania, Brock Lesnar has to make these appearances. Raw, pay-per-views, no house shows. So now that brings me to this point. Who is Brock Lesnar's next opponent? Well, obviously, the best thing and the best route to do is to look at him and Triple H. Triple H has limited dates because he's the COO of the company. He's running things backstage and he's helping with the production and the matchmaking and so forth. So he's basically being groomed to run the company once Vince hangs it up. So it's only fitting that we're finally going to get a chance to see the match that fans have been waiting to see for some time, in which is Triple H versus Brock Lesnar. And if history serves me correct, this is a match that should have taken place in 2002, right after Brock won the Undisputed title from The Rock. And he was the last Undisputed World Champion, but signed exclusive to SmackDown to defend the WWE title on SmackDown and SmackDown only. So we all saw what happened with that. Brock traded the belt back and forth between Big Show and Kurt Angle, etc., 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 all the way until with him dropping the title to the late Eddie Guerrero. Him and Triple H never faced off, so it would be perfect to have these two go up against each other. This will be a very interesting match with Triple H, knowing his skill and his skill set, how him and Brock Lesnar would face off. Would have been money back then? Yeah, it would have been money back then, but if it's going to be money right now, then why now? Why not now? Better late than sorry. Now, we go on to CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. WWE sees a cash cow, and this is perfect. Because for the first time in the history of WWE, in the first time so that the World Heavyweight title is, well, the WWE World Heavyweight title has been elevated to such a point where two small guys will fight for the prestigious championship in a technical wrestling match. Now, the very last time that this was done, this was when they were surrounding and building the WWE World title around both Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. And this is what's putting me in that mindset of giving me that old feeling of watching pro wrestling like how it was in the 90s and the late, the 90s, if you will, the early 90s, late 90s, when Bret and Shawn were the centerpieces around the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. When you turn to see these matches, these guys created magic. So you can't go wrong with watching Daniel Bryan and CM Punk going against each other for the World Championship. It is going to be a good match. So far, we done seen these guys have a stalemate on Raw. Punk beating Daniel Bryan beating Punk, etc., etc. And then just recently, Daniel Bryan winning the Beat the Clock, defeating Jerry Lawler with the fastest time with the LeBell Lock, the Crippler Crossface, or the Yes Lock, to secure the win and to become the number one challenger, the number one contender to the WWE World title. And he will face CM Punk for the championship. And it's going to be very interesting to see how these two guys, whose history goes back to Ring of Honor, goes back to all of the indie shows that they've ever had against each other, because all you guys out there who watch the show, who are fans of independent wrestling and supporters of independent wrestling, and that knows the history of these two guys, you're going to get your money's worth. CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, these guys set trails. FIP, MLW, Noah, Ring of Honor. More notably, these guys are making headwaves there. They made headwaves there, and if it wasn't for their body of work, they would not be in the WWE right now. Even though I think they would be successful outside of WWE, don't get me wrong. But here it is. You have guys who virtually held every independent title there is, facing each other for the WWE's centerpiece, the World Heavyweight Championship, the WWE Heavyweight title, in a soon-to-be classic. The new era of classic wrestling, and CM Punk and Daniel Bryan are ushering the way in. On a side note, now let's go to John Cena and John Laurinaitis. Johnny Ace, if you will be challenging John Cena. Why? Because John Laurinaitis still doesn't want John Cena to be the face of the company. So, what does he do? He attacks John Cena with Sakamoto and Matt Bloom, or Lord Tensai, if you want to call him that. And once again, I'll get into this whole Lord Tensai thing, down the road. Laurinaitis, who had not performed in the ring since the late 1990s, 2000, in All Japan Pro Wrestling, which was his last time that he wrestled for any professional wrestling company. Co-holder of the Real World Tag Team title, winner of the Real World Tag League tournaments, All Japan Dual Crown Tag Team Champion. He's held these titles and he's done very well. He was the number one Gaijin wrestler, the Gaijin handler for all of the Gaijin wrestler. Gaijin in Japanese, for all of my smart wrestling fans, is basically foreign wrestler, American wrestler, European wrestler. All of them, all European wrestlers of the Caucasian persuasion are called Gaijin, whereas black wrestlers, Koji, I guess if you want to call it that way. Nonetheless, Johnny Ace handled all of the arrangements for the American-born wrestlers, European-born, Caucasian wrestlers. And he was a top guy, and he worked hand-in-hand with Giant Baba, the late Giant Baba, and Masawa Mitsuharu, rest in peace. Johnny hadn't been in a match for some time. He's teased matches on Raw, teased that he was going to get in there and do something. But now he's going to have the opportunity to take on John Cena, with them trying to do everything in their power to rebuild the McMahon-Austin angles that they've been doing, not only with him, but with CM Punk as well. That's going to be interesting. Now I'm going to cap it off with the four-way for the World Heavyweight Championship between Sheamus, Alberto Del Rio, Chris Jericho, Randy Orton. What a surprise here. the first match is that Alberto Del Rio is going to get himself involved in is the world title picture with Sheamus. Sheamus has had a pretty successful run so far as World Heavyweight Champion. It's been a month now since he's won the title, and he's defended it successfully. He beat Daniel Bryan at the last pay-per-view in a 2 out of 3 falls match, a classic, if you will, where it was technical wrestling versus power and, amongst other things, a surprise. With Sheamus actually showing some real wrestling, and the guy can tell a story. The guy can take a beating. So Sheamus, who was known for tearing through people, can take a beat down. So that's good. Throw in Chris Jericho in the mix, who had a successful run with CM Punk. Jericho looking to do whatever he can to win the title. Now shifts his gears to the World Heavyweight Championship. And now you throw into the mix the Apex Predator, Randy Orton. Randy Orton, who's been out of the heavyweight title picture for a year now, since dropping the belt to Mark Henry. He's now getting back into the picture, and what better way to do it than to just throw him in there. These are the top 3 contenders for this world title belt, and it's interesting to see how this is going to play out. Now, No Way Out is the next pay-per-view coming up for the WWE, so it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to turn out. The 4 main storylines I just got into, it's going to be very interesting to see how these things pan out. CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan. You got your wrestling clinic going on right there. You have the 4-way between Sheamus, Randy Orton, Alberto Del Rio, and Chris Jericho. That's going to be a very interesting match to watch as well. And Laurinaitis versus John Cena. Here we have a guy who did earn a reputation in Japan, who has like the most heat in the company right now, taking on the guy with the most mixed review, the most mixed reaction in WWE history, and I'm talking John Cena, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be good to see how this turns out. And, of course, Brock Lesnar versus Triple H. That's going to be another interesting thing. So, folks, I'm out of here. I'm out of time. I will talk to you guys on the flip. Stay up and be easy. Peace.